what is going on? Who has the rock concert next door? And so I was really, really frustrated. And I walked in, and then Jason and I and Tom McDermott, where's Tom? Tom, I really appreciate you helping me keep the rhythm, because he and I were struggling the whole time in the beginning with those little, what were those things called? Little shakers. Little shakers. But I was watching Tom across the way because I had to pick out somebody to help me keep the rhythm because I can't. Finally, I had to decide on Kelly Nybo because that was who was helping me keep the rhythm.
I was watching Kelly too.
You were watching Kelly? So some of us struggle with that, but I thought that the greatest thing when we walked in that room in Orlando was that there were many people just like those of you that were skeptic and like me, and when we left it was like, this was an amazing event. And the fact that he ties it back together with the concepts of how we are as leaders is so key. And so our whole theme of today has been about, and is about, the rhythm and the heartbeat of the organization. And Kip is going to talk with us today about making, or a symphony in the making, and about how we keep that going. So Kip doesn't need an introduction, but I've got to tell you that this summer I didn't see Kip a whole lot, but I did see his truck parked across the street from the old Auburn High School for almost 2 weeks. And he had lots of little helpers with him at different times to observe those things. And then Jennifer Davidson told me that she also met Kip over there quite a bit because their grandson has their favorite excavator over there in regards to taking apart the old Auburn High School. So Kip, today let's get you started with a symphony in the making.
You know, we have some talented musicians within our midst, and I'd like to call them out. So, Alex, where are you? Alex, you are a musician, correct? Yeah. So, tell us a little bit of what a symphony is versus the group that we had performing a little while ago.
Well, in a symphony, you're going to have your traditional makeup of violins, violas, cellos, basses, whole wind section, trumpets, trombones, like Adam over there. I played with him symphony as Adam, actually, from West Seattle. And then a conductor that ties it all together.
Great, thank you, Alex. And so, and I knew that Adam is a member of a symphony. Are there any other musicians who are a member of a symphony? Adam, do you have anything to add about what a symphony is? I heard that just like a symphony, there are many different instruments that are involved, just like each of us in this room represents a different part of this organization. And we're all pulling in the same direction. We're all pulling for the same purpose. But what about a symphony? What sets it apart other than the instruments?
Well, it's not just the instruments that are, each section isn't just its own individual. Each section doesn't play its own part. Within each section are individuals playing individual parts that work together within the section. And then that section works with the adjacent sections, all listening down through the symphony to the lowest voices, establishing the rhythm, the beat, and carrying forward from there, layering over the top, everybody working together to achieve this common goal at the timing issued by the conductor up front.
He must be a music teacher, right? No, I really, a symphony is something that has different movements, but they're all coordinated in a fashion that they create something extraordinary. And leadership is really important within that group. I've gone out and visited a number of times Megan's, I want to call her Postien Wagner, in terms of when she's working with her orchestra, and it is an incredible experience to watch her be a teacher of a symphony, and to teach all of the members that are playing different instruments and have different parts to listen to each other and learn how to synchronize with each other to create an incredible sound, a high quality sound. I see that and I think that that's what we're striving for. We've identified quality, what quality is, and we're striving for it. And we've had a heartbeat, which I think is the moral imperative of the work we do. There's no more work that is more important than the work you do, and creating the conditions so that we can do our work well. And I'm looking forward to the future and continuing to work together and bringing new membership and creating new systems in place, because it's my belief that the real innovation is always in how you can change the systems. In fact, sometimes current systems can be the roadblock to making changes. And so my presentation today is a reiteration of many things that I've said before in my role of leadership and my work with the school board, my work with Tactical Force, and my work with you in the building level and the departments and all of our programs. And we've had a lot of success, but I will just call out at the very beginning that foremost we're a learning organization. And I think that's the message from How Stella Saved the Farm, is basically that they had to become a learning organization before they could have success with their product. We have to continually be a learning organization. And that learning doesn't always occur within the traditional educational field of things. It comes from new ideas. I like to call them mental models. But the real change happens when there is an idea or a mental model, because so much of what we do is to be efficient, and that's important, okay, and to be organized. And so consequently, sometimes we have to step outside of our comfort zones, and I think today's using music as a metaphor for how we work as an organization allows us to sort of say, okay, yeah, all right, I need to look at that. I need to query that idea. And the same is true for the book that we all read. Easy read, a parable, simple, you know, you can get to it. I loved Animal Farm, so I love this in the same way because it's about the business we do, but yet it comes from another perspective. It doesn't come from the educational field. And so consequently, I'm going to just run through some parts I think that represent the heartbeat and represent the rhythm of the organization, and put it into some kind of total systemic fashion. And it's worked pretty well, but there's lots of room for continued growth.